Hey, before we talk about this game, I need you to know something. I grew up in New Jersey. This is how I say Mario. I can't say it the other way. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to work with me here, okay? Mario. I love Paper Mario because it puts a really interesting spin on the traditional Mario game. The first one showed up in the US back in 2001, and since then we usually get one new paper game per console. Personally, I was a huge fan of Super Paper Mario on the Wii, and after hearing about the Origami King coming to the Switch, I was all in. And with almost a dozen hours of the latest Paper Mario game under my belt, I can confidently say that Paper Mario the Origami King is another worthy entry in the series, combining really clever design, surprisingly solid comedic writing, and all of the RPG adjacent elements we've come to know and love. In Origami King, Mario must work with his new friend Olivia, whose brother has become drunk with origami power and has used his, streamer energy to rip Princess Peach's castle from the ground and toss it up on a mountain. I know, unbelievable. Along the way, Mario starts to unravel the power of origami and uses it to defeat enemies, solve puzzles, and take on boss battles. Mario collects paper scraps that shake out of the environment and then can use them to spray confetti wherever paper holes appear in the world. It is a great animation, and I just realized Mario is basically Rip Taylor in this game. The format of Origami King is very much the same as other Paper Mario titles. You'll make your way through different areas, collecting and fetching items that will help you continue the adventure. And of course, that means a major part of this game is turn-based battling, which this time around has you spinning a playfield so that you can either line up or stack enemies together before you attack. At the start of a battle, you'll have a limited amount of time to make a number of moves to turn and twist the board. This is actually not as easy as it looks. Early on, of course, it's pretty simple, but it gets way more complicated the further you are in the game. Thankfully, the more Mario upgrades his HP, the more you can avoid having to enter a battle altogether and just clobber a Goomba on the head and move on. That's a good thing though, because I kind of felt that the battling, at least in the early stages of the game, kind of outstay their welcome. Once you do 2 or 3 in a row, you're ready for something else. And that said, the boss battles play out in a modified version of the ring battle, which are much longer and feel a lot fresher. You don't always fight enemies in these sort of ring battles. Some of them require more strategic attacks, like the really cool giant papier-mâché monsters that you'll often have to deal with. Everything in the game's world looks beautiful and feels handcrafted and lends itself perfectly to this game's theme. I love how Mario befriends characters that he'd normally want nothing to do with, and the fact that everyone who hasn't been folded, as the game puts it, is just sort of wandering the world wondering what's wrong with everyone. And there are toads to be rescued scattered all over the world, because of course there are. Those guys cannot catch a break. It's ridiculous. And the writing is really funny in this game, like maybe more than it has any right to be. I guess I wasn't expecting much, but it's great and constant throughout. And like I said earlier, I love that Paper Mario games usually go to some pretty bizarre places, and Origami King is no exception. This game's weird, okay? There's dance numbers, gigantic cheerleading turtles with pom-poms. It's great. If anything, the only downside in Origami King is that it doesn't make that much of a departure from the Paper Mario formula, but because the game only makes it out roughly once a console generation, I don't think that's much of an issue. I've loved playing this game while my 5-year-old watches along, and it's probably too complicated for him to play right now, but he is loving every minute of it. Paper Mario the Origami King, it's basically a no-brainer if you have a Nintendo Switch. Let me know if you're going to pick this one up. Stay safe, my friends, and as always, thank you so much for watching.